Freshers Now, a YouTube channel. Today, we move on to the next level of the parts of speech, that is, adjectives. Let us come to understand what is an adjective and the different types of adjectives. An adjective is a word which qualifies or describes a noun or a pronoun. I repeat here, an adjective is a word which qualifies or describes a noun or a pronoun. Now come to know about what are the different types of adjectives. We have two types we can say, but let us come to know in detail. One is a descriptive and the other is determiners. So let us come to know in detail about it. The different types of adjectives are descriptive adjectives, possessive adjectives, interrogative adjectives, and demonstrative adjectives or indefinite adjectives and number adjectives. And we can, as I told, in two ways we can decide it. Like, one is determiners and the other is a descriptive adjectives. A descriptive adjective is a very commonly used adjective which refer a color, a size, or quality. Like, I can say a color like blue, red, yellow, white. And you can say about, like sizes of like tall, short. And describing words can be like smart, active, clever. So this is a way where we can say that. And let us come to know the determiners. These determiners are, otherwise we can say that there are grammar words. There are the grammar words. Say, the possessive adjectives like my, our, his, her, your, their. I set an example on this here. I can say that David lost his purse. Now in this sentence, you can see that his is a possessive adjective. I lost my wallet. The my is an adjective, the possessive adjective. In the same manner, we can also learn about this demonstrative adjectives like this, that, these, those. We can also understand that John gifted me a pen. John gifted me this pen, for example. When I say John gifted me this pen, in this sentence, this is a demonstrative adjective. He lost that book. When I say he lost that book, that is a demonstrative adjective. And the next one we can say about interrogative adjectives. The interrogative adjectives are what, which, whose. So we can also use, for example, which book do you read quite often? Which is of all the books there, which book in specific that you ask? That is, which is an interrogative adjective. So, in the same way that you can say, what are indefinite adjectives? The indefinite adjectives are many, several, and a few. For example, if I say that she collected many stamps, I said she collected many stamps. And in this sentence, several or many, the many is an adjective that refers the quantity. That is what we can say, that it is an indefinite, which is not inspecific again here. And the other one also is there, that it is a number adjective, say 10, 20, whatever. 20 students in the class. Here, 20 is a number adjective. So this is a way where the determiners can be used as the adjectives in any given sentence. And apart from that, we also have articles and the or the. These are also adjectives. We use these words. For example, I say, I watched a movie yesterday. I watched a movie yesterday. Here, a is an article, but it is an adjective which refers to understand any. It is not specific. If I say that I watched the movie yesterday, it is that on an understanding that the person whom I'm speaking to knows the specific movie which I watched without referring the name of the movie. And we should also understand that these adjectives are also said to be modifiers. They change. They change by providing more information about a noun or a pronoun. This is where an adjective can also be used. And we should also understand that we have adjectives of different kinds. Say, like the adjectives that we add with ed, we add with ing. The words that we add with ed are related to cause, and the words that we add ing are effect, which is to speak about the result. For example, I say interested, interesting, surprised, surprising, and worried, worrying, and disappointed, disappointing. Now, how do we use them? How do we bring them into use? Now, if I have to speak about the cause, I was worried with her behavior at the party. I was worried with her behavior at the party. Her behavior is really worrying. So this is where I could say that. So, even the words like his performance was disappointing. So this is what we can understand about the adjectives where we can say with ed and ing. For example, he's an experienced driver. He is a talented boy. So these are the adjectives where they add with ed. In general, why I say this is, in general, students commit mistake that by adding ed or come to know that there is a word which is ended with ed, they may consider it a verb, but should be careful that there are also adjectives with ing and ed, not only the verbs. Now, let us come to know the order of adjectives, how we should use them. So we should be careful in the use because it is fixed when we try to use a more and more in a sentence, more number of adjectives in a sentence. There is an order where it starts with quantity or number, quality or opinion, and the other one is size, and we should speak, the next one is age, and shape, and color, and origin, and purpose. When I said this origin, it refers the nationality, it's the name of a place or a material even. And I could set an example for you. Say, he bought one beautiful, large, new, rectangular, red Australian carpet. Now we can understand the order here, where we cannot change the order of the adjectives. So, if I have to say about when there are two or more adjectives, even with a comma, we can even connect them with a word called and. That is a conjunction. With that we can use that. For example, the house is white and yellow. And also I can say, this library has old and new books. This is how where we can use them. And the next level of these adjectives, comparatives and superlatives. And we know that this is a specific topic, but to come to know, as we are learning, as we are coming to understand what and how these adjectives are used. So let us come to understand here adjectives with as, adjective as. When we have to use the comparative degrees or comparative adjective, making a comparison with any, maybe a place or a noun, a person, a thing, or an animal, we add er to the adjectives. But we should also understand that there are certain adjectives in English that we cannot add er, where in such a case we have to use the adjectives like more. So because here we should understand how these are used, because commonly they are committed in a wrong way. They are used sometimes. It happens with a few students. For example, if I say that this house is more bigger than there. Now here you can understand that here I used more and bigger, which is not to be used. It is incorrect. This house is bigger than that. That's all. When you add er to an adjective, you should not take a double adjective saying that more again. The most biggest house. No. This is the biggest of all. So this is how where the comparatives are to be used. So for example, I say, this boy is the most brilliant in the class. Here I have to be very careful. We should understand that we cannot use est or st to that adjective, because it is not in English where we can form a word with st or est with adding to that brilliant. So we should be careful in this way. So he is the most talkative boy in the class, even with I, we, e, and even with a, b, l, e. It's also possible to form the adjectives. So adjectives are to be learned in a careful way, that how they are to be used in any given structure. And from this class, if you have any doubts, please mention in the comment box. And if you want to learn more of these, please subscribe, and I will come back on my next class.